Hello, this is Wayne Allyn Root, and you're on the air.
Get ready, America. The conversation starts now. This is America Speaks.
Hey, Wayne, what do you think about Obama?
He was a communist, socialist, Marxist radical.
I agree.
He's unfiltered, and he's taking your calls live.
Wayne, how do you see the current state of MAGA?
We are winning. We're taking back the agenda. We're not punching bags anymore. We're actually punching back.
Sir Wayne Allyn Root.
I'm the loudest MAGA mouth in the USA, coming to you from Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world.
Pick up the phone, join the conversation, and let your voice be heard.
This is America Speaks, and it starts right now on Real America's Voice.
Thank you, Vegas. Thank you, Vegas. If you're tuning in right now and you're expecting America's Top 10 Countdown, it's actually for 1 week only. My brand new call-in show, 1 hour national TV call-in show, America Speaks, in place of America's Top 10 Countdown. But I will be doing a Top 10 Countdown during this show. As I start every show, the root is on fire. Welcome to my live show in Las Vegas. Thank you for attending Las Vegas. Live studio audience of my fellow Las Vegans who love Donald J. Trump and MAGA and America First and war. Wayne Allyn Root. Thank you. These are my people, and this is my world. Welcome to Wayne's World. You've all heard of the mainstream media. I like to call this the Wayne Stream media. And the difference is I tell you the raw truth. Whether you like it or not, whether you're offended or not, it is the truth. The loudest MAGA mouth in the world with the fastest 10 show in the history of television. Reminder, my command central, rootforamerica.com. All my radio shows, TV shows, podcasts are all found there, plus my columns and commentaries, all at rootforamerica.com. My email, wayneroot@gmail.com, and I read every single email. I get between 1,000 and 2,000 a week. I can't answer all of them anymore, but I read every single one of them. It's why I don't sleep anymore. Normally, you'd be hearing America's Top 10 Countdown. I want to make sure you know this show is on every weeknight. America Speaks at midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific. But it's kind of complicated because it shoots every afternoon. We film it every afternoon at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. So all of you out there can call in at 6 p.m. Eastern. See, I'm confused. 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Every day, Monday through Friday, you can call in at 800-347-ROOT. And you can leave voicemails 24 hours a day, 7 days a week there. And I answer voicemails. I play them on the air and respond to them on the air every night. So today we've got a live studio audience. We will get questions, comments, opinions from all of you. But first, a couple of news items. So I spent Wednesday in Las Vegas at the Trump rally at Red Rock Casino. President Donald J. Trump was here with us, the greatest president of my lifetime, and I think one of the 5 greatest presidents in the history of our country. And I was honored to spend time backstage with President Trump. And hopefully, Ahern, you can show the photo. There it is, Cindy and I with President. Can the crowd see it? Can all of you see it live? Okay, good. So there was Cindy and I with President Trump. Then there was a little time spent backstage with Iron Mike Tyson, which was a great honor. I'd never met Iron Mike before. If you can get that photo up, we can change it to, there he is, Iron Mike. I was watching my ear. It was very scary for a moment or two. And then, of course, Iron Mike and his wife and my wife Cindy and I were all there as well. So here's the photo of all 4 of us. Could not have been a nicer person on earth. No celebrity has ever been nicer than Mike Tyson. Believe it or not, he is a genuine guy, great guy. And then we had time to spend with Superman, Dean Cain, who you all saw in the show that just taped live here with Eric Bolling. Dean Cain and I, good friends. We both come from Malibu, California, and we both now escape Malibu and live here in Las Vegas. And I just found out this morning that President Trump has agreed to give me an interview with him on Monday morning, my 17th interview with the President of the United States. So you will tune in We'll air it first on America Speaks. So Monday night at midnight East Coast time, 9 p.m. West Coast time or Vegas time here will be my interview with President Trump, and we'll probably run it a couple times during the week. Then we'll run it on my Vegas radio show. We'll run it on my podcast. And we'll run it on America's Top 10 Countdown. But it'll be my 17th interview with the boss, and what an honor to interview the sitting President of the United States and the leader of the free world. Great honor. I'm an SOB, and I can tell you right now, son of a butcher, and I can tell you my mom and dad are looking down from heaven with tears in their eyes, because only in America can that happen. Only in America. All right, now to an abbreviated Top 10 Countdown, and I'm going to count down the top 10 stories in America from number 10 to number 5, and I'm going to save the final 4 for the last segment of the show. So without further ado, it's time for America's Top 10 Countdown. Number 10. Are we doing the same thing we always do on Top 10? I guess we're not. On Top 10, you hear a swoosh. I'm not getting the swoosh. It feels like I'm not in the usual place. I'm in a strange environment. No swoosh. So number 10 is the weird attitude Democrats have about taxes. And I start with Mayor Pete. I call him Butt Edge, otherwise known as Mayor Pete Butthead from South Bend. You couldn't make it up. The gay mayor of South Bend. It's kind of hard to believe. But he was on a podcast fantasizing about ways to take more taxes from the American people, because he believes you're not taxed enough. You're getting away with murder. And he actually said we could use that money for high-speed rail. I mean, can you believe the way that liberals think? In California, they've wasted $200 billion on high-speed rail, and not one track has been built. And he's mad that you're keeping your own money because he wants it to come from there. And he actually suggested that we've got to raise capital gains taxes dramatically and inheritance taxes dramatically, as if capital gains taxes, liberals don't understand, is money you've already paid income taxes on, and now you're investing in America in stocks and real estate. As if liberals don't understand the deal with inheritance taxes. You've paid taxes your entire life, and now they want to tax you again after you're dead, and you can't leave it to your own kids. And then I run to California. I usually run away from California, but here I'm running to it. California Democrats are moving forward with the 5% billionaires tax. And I say this with all honesty. Again, I would be against this tax no matter what. If it was for the entire America, I would absolutely be against it, and I'd fight it to the death. But at least I'd understand it makes sense to Democrats to have it for all of America. Can you understand how stupid Democrats are, how ignorant, how delusional they are to do it for one state, not realizing that every person in the entire state with money will now leave for another state? And they could choose Nevada right next door, Scottsdale right next door. They could choose Park City, Utah right next door. They could go to Idaho, Montana, anywhere in Texas, anywhere in Florida, anywhere in South Carolina, and not have to pay the tax. So there are exactly 200 billionaires in California, and all 200 are either moved already or making plans to move. There will be none left. So when they leave, and those 200 people pay about 40 to 50% of all taxes in California, who will be left to pay the bills? And the answer is no one. Just like Mondami in New York City with the Piedra tax. Nobody's left to pay the bills. All right, countdown number 9. I've said again and again, week after week on my show, there is not just a communist attack on the United States of America, a communist color revolution. There is a merging of communism and radical Islam that no one has ever seen in world history, because those are not generally fans of each other. They're not generally teammates. And in America now, they've merged together. And I just thought it's interesting. The Islamic call to prayer now blasts 5 times per day across Minneapolis, setting the precedent for future U.S. cities. And you know New York City is going to be next. And they all day long, you're going to be walking down the street and hear the Islamic call to prayer. Does anybody here want to hear that call to prayer? Can I hear that a little louder, please? There you go. Let me hear you in Minnesota. And one more story you may not have heard because it just came out this morning. Coca-Cola is facing a nationwide boycott because someone went on their site and they allow you to design a Coke can any way you want. So we put in Allah is King, and it immediately on the website printed out his can with Coca-Cola and Allah's King. Then he said Satan is King, and it immediately printed out on online a Coke can, Satan is King. And then he said Jesus is King, and it said we're sorry, we can't allow that on our can. So when you're drinking Coca-Cola, start thinking about that. Nationwide boycott. Countdown number 8. We thought we were doing a great job, right? Every time we do, I know someone asked a question in the earlier show with Eric Bowling and Dean Cain, and they said, why do we always come to play with like a pink shirt on, thinking we're like, playing badminton with Muffy at the country club, right? And the Democrats are vicious, and they want to kill us, and they want to ruin us. They want to cheer for Charlie Kirk's death. So in Virginia, we removed 6,500 illegal aliens for the voting rolls, right? Is that good? Yeah. Well, the Virginia governor the next week just restored 66,000 felons to the voting rolls. So we got rid of 6,500. She restored 66,000 felons. How are you going to win this battle when they play like that and we play like cupcakes, like kittens, like pussycats? It's crazy. And then countdown number 7, disturbing video from a radical nonprofit group shares efforts to indoctrinate children and catch kids when they're starting puberty, along with efforts to intentionally go into younger and younger grades. So the battle is being won by convincing a kindergarten boy that he should be a girl and replace his penis with a vagina. And this is happening every day in the United States of America. Harry, how we do with time? Are we down to like seconds?
Yeah, 1 minute.
1 minute. Countdown number 6. We know, everyone here knows that Spokane is got a terrible fire. And just like Pac Palisades, which I predicted the moment I heard it, it was arson, and they are now have a person on trial for arson. No conservative group that I know of is talking about the fact that liberal, I call them eco-Nazis, environmental Nazis, are setting these fires. These are not God-made. These are not natural. These are man-made. These fires across America are being set by liberal losers who hate the fact that they have no home and you've got a home, and they want to prove that climate change is real and global warming is real, and no one is upset over the fact that at any moment all over America, it's happened in how many different places, massive fires, and they immediately say climate change, and every single time it turns out to be arson. And finally, countdown number 5, the gentleman, I shouldn't call him a gentleman, the low-life Muslim extremist communist who just won the Democrat primary for U.S. Senate in Michigan, Abdul El Sayed, who has said on numerous occasions it's okay to murder Jews, was just endorsed by the American Association of University Professors. And you wonder why kids are turning out liberal. It's the extremes that we're seeing right now are something no one's ever seen in the history of the United States. Joe McCarthy was right. He was just early. This is a communist takeover of the United States. But again, it goes back to my message. It's a communist merger between communism and radical Islam. They want to conquer us. They want to enslave us. They want to destroy us. They want to murder us. They want to put us in concentration camps, otherwise known as, re-education camps. It's all coming if we don't win the midterms and then win again in 28. I believe if we win again in 28, after winning the midterms, America will be the greatest nation in world history all over again and get even greater. But if we lose it, it's over. It's over. So everything is on the line for the midterms. We'll be right back, and we'll start taking your calls right here on America Speaks with Wayne Allyn. Be right back. Wayne Allyn Root here with John Jubilee, owner and founder of the Energized Health program. When I joined Energized Health 6 years ago,
It changed my life. Since then, John has been a regular guest on all my shows, sharing their breakthrough science of intracellular hydration. John, your program changed my life, and more importantly for me, expanded my career, and it became really just, it reversed aged me. It became my fountain of youth. And many people are now using your program along with the GLP-1s, the weight loss drugs, Ozempic, Mounjaro, and all of them. Explain how Energized Health is working alongside these weight loss drugs, a perfect synergy.
Well, how we do that, Wayne, is weight loss is one thing, but with every weight loss drug that there is, all the families of weight loss drugs, they also come with the weight loss of our healthy lean muscle and our healthy hydration, which is the weight we don't want to lose, right? We don't want to lose that and get sarcopenia or osteoporosis. So at Energized Health, we guarantee you will gain your hydration and you will gain your lean, healthy muscle mass while you're losing your visceral and subcutaneous fat. That's why it's kind of the match made in heaven, Wayne, that they don't get the two negatives that come with the GLP-1s.
Perfect synergy. Energized Health's protocol targets the root cause of many ailments and diseases and helps people get off their medications and lose their fat fast. Explain.
Yeah, well, all of medical science is trained to go after the symptom. So here's a symptom, here's a drug. Here's a symptom, here's a drug. At Energized Health, we don't look at the symptom. We look at the root cause. The root cause of 99.9% every illness and disease, one thing is inflammation. And just like when you walk into a room and turn a light on, darkness cannot exist. When you put intracellular hydration in a human body, inflammation cannot exist. And so that's why we've reversed thousands of illnesses and diseases with our breakthrough patent pending science of intracellular hydration.
All right. It's a great program. It's an amazing program. It changed my life. I'm Exhibit A. Thank you, John. I've got a new TV show thanks to you. I'm being 65 years old. I'm turning 65 years old this July, and I got a new TV show unheard of in the annals of TV history. You get 40% off and go on the same journey as me when you go to EnergizedHealth.com and just say WAR when you speak to them for Wayne Allyn Root. 40% off, and you go on the same journey. I hope it anti-ages you. I hope it's your fountain of youth. God bless all of you. EnergizedHealth.com, promo code WAR.
All right, we've got a live audience here in Las Vegas, Nevada, Ahern Hotel, by the way. This is a hotel just off the strip on Sahara Boulevard that holds every conservative event in this city. You name it all comes to Ahern. Thank you, Don Ahern, for always taking care of the conservatives in this town. Thank you, Don. All right, before we get to questions, because everyone's lined up to give opinions and comments and questions, I want to mention the live read of a sponsor of this show, because these are the guys that pay the bills that make sure you get to watch for free. And it's the sponsor of this show is Zicha Genesis Medicine, a biotech company. They've been developing medicines to treat Parkinson's disease, reverse type 2 diabetes, reverse heart disease, reverse strokes, reverse chronic pain, and more. And their medical research studies are having tremendous success. So much so that they're opening a pre-IPO investment opportunity to one of their sister companies. This is your chance to get in before an IPO listing. Very rare. I've never had this opportunity in my life. The placement is at $5 per share at a minimum of 2,000 shares. That's a $10,000 minimum investment. And that's what everyone at RAB's been asking me about. You know, we have lots of investment opportunities, but they're usually 50, 100, 250,000. This one is set at a low of $10,000 minimum investment. If you want the opportunity to invest at the pre-IPO stage, go now to a new website they created just for my fans, invest-war.com, invest-war.com for Wayne Allyn Root. This is not investment advice, and I'm not an investment advisor. Always do your own due diligence. But if you've been waiting for the right opportunity at the right entry point, this is the time. Go to invest-war.com. That's invest war.com for Zicha Genesis Medicine. All right, let's take some, I was about to say take some calls, which is what I always say on my show, but nobody's calling. You're all live in person. And let's start with the very first person. Go ahead, give us your name and what you want to speak about. I think that's JD, if I'm not mistaken, yeah?
Wayne, thank you for the time. John Delaberta, JD to my friends, juvenile delinquent. 49-year resident of Las Vegas.
Wait, I have to say one thing. JD was my first caller on my local Vegas radio show 1,000 years ago, when all I had was a local Vegas radio show. It was 1 hour each night at 6 o'clock Vegas time, and then it became 2 hours, then it became 3 hours, then they fired Mark Levin and gave me afternoon drive for 3 hours. Then we started taking calls. JD was not only my first caller, he was a caller every single day. And now he calls in my national TV show every single night. Go ahead, JD, the floor is yours.
And you were kind enough to invite me to do your show when you were out of town.
You did.
And I did it many times. I think the most important thing in this country right now, I've been a follower of politics since 1956 with Eisenhower's second term, is the recent Supreme Court decision on birthright citizenship. Peter Schweitzer wrote a book where 1.4 million Chinese people have come here since 1997 to have a baby. They brought those babies back to China. They educated them the communist way in China. Many of them are 18 years old going to Harvard, Yale, Stanford. Many of them will probably stay in those communities. They will be economists, they will be lawyers, they will be running for mayor, they will running for city council.
Running for Congress.
They will donate to all the right charities. They will become integral parts of their community. They will run for the House. They will run for the Senate. And believe it or not, they can run for President of the United States.
Because they're U.S. citizens based on the birthright citizenship ruling of the Supreme Court.
And they lived 18 years under the indoctrination of China, communism. I do not understand how the Supreme Court, how every president prior to President Trump, every senator and House member did not realize the danger of this. The same thing could be said about the millions of Mexican children with La Raza that has been trying to take over our country for years because this is their land. How many of those people will be indoctrinated into our society and then run for office? It's only a matter of time. Already in 1997, 2 of these Chinese birthright citizens were captured trying to blow up Fort Bragg. So that's the start of it, and that scares the heck out of me. I won't be around, but I hope every one of you people out here do whatever you can to tell your congressmen, your senators, hey, we have to stop this. And President Trump signed an executive order today to do something about it.
That's by the way, that's my number one story to end the show today in my final 4. That will be my number one story, and I'll tell you about it. President Trump just went a long way to solving the problem today based on the Supreme Court ruling that legalized birthright citizenship, but they legalized it with a narrow legal argument that Trump has used against them to now go against birthright citizenship. He did that today. We'll talk about that in the final 4. Thank you, Jamie.
In conclusion, I've been a poll watcher. I've knocked on doors. I've made phone calls. We got to win this midterm. Do whatever you can. Stand at a poll, stand guard, and make sure that they don't cheat. Do whatever you can, because tell 10 or 20 of your friends and relatives what's going on and try and convince them to vote the right way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, JD. Now, so first of all, my response, first of all, is everyone in this room obviously agrees, and you all know what I know, which is that there's no other country in the world that allows birthright citizenship. There's no other country in the world, by the way, that allows mail-in voting, mass mail-in voting. There's no other country in the world that allows ballot drop boxes or ballot harvesting. This is the only country in the world where we are too timid to stop absolute voter fraud. It's just truly amazing. Yes. Oh, it's time already for another live read. Well, we'll save it for the final 4 because I want to get in another person. But I just want to say, as far as birthright citizenship, that we all know that Dianne Feinstein had a driver that was literally a Chinese spy. We all know that there were congressmen who had Chinese girlfriends they were having affairs with that were Chinese spies. We know a mayor in California had to step down for being a Chinese spy. We know that there is a woman who came to America from China. She had an affair with one of the richest billionaires in America who owns the Milwaukee Bucks NBA team. and literally tried to extort him for $1 billion. This country is riddled with spies from every country in the world, not just China. I'm sure North Korea. I'm sure every enemy this country has. So we can't allow this infiltration of our country. Just cannot. We're going to get to as many of you as we can. Let's grab one more right now. Do we have time for one more?
1 minute.
1 minute. Go ahead, shoot.
Wayne, Paul Dolan from Las Vegas.
Hi, Paul.
So I want to talk about the Communist Control Act of 1954.
Yes.
And JD will remember this because Dwight Eisenhower signed that law. And it states that the Communist Party is a conspiracy to overthrow the U.S. government, making it illegal to run as a communist.
Making them enemies of the United States.
Right. And getting into how hard the Democrats fight, unlike the Republicans, the Democrat Socialists of America equals a Marxist Communist Party, but they can't come out and say it.
Right.
I.e. Mandami in New York, doing Marxist communist things. Abdul Sayed came out and said, he will end the filibuster. He will work, if he wins, to end the filibuster and neutralize the Republicans.
Right.
So,
but Tom Tillis won't let it happen. John Thune won't let it happen. Mitch McConnell's brain dead won't let it happen. It's a joke. Lisa Murkowski won't let it happen. We play badminton with Muffy at the country club. Right. Well, they've got guns to our head to blow our brains out. And it's got to stop. We need fighters. And other than Trump, we really don't have any. That's the problem. When we get back, we'll let you finish when we get back. We're headed to a break. I've said on my show many times, the Communist Control Act of 1954 is already on the books. We can stop communists from running for office or serving in office in the United States of America if only someone would enforce the laws of the United States. We'll be right back. America Speaks with Wayne Allyn on Real America's Voice. Thank you. Live audience today in Las Vegas, Nevada. Hello, Las Vegas. All right, before we get to more questions and comments from the audience, and this is not America's Top 10, the usual in its slot. This is America Speaks, my brand new 1-hour call-in show every night on Real America's Voice. We're putting it in the top 10 time slot for just one weekend. But if this is a success, and we all agree it's a success, we'll start to do live shows here once a month here in Las Vegas. So we'll keep going. Lost Soldier Oil and Gas is the sponsor of this segment, headed by oil and gas legend Mark Bruner, whose companies have created more than $15 billion in shareholder value. At its peak, his company, Penteco Energy, grew 100 to 1 for investors. Have you ever put $100 in, it went up times 100? Have you ever put $1,000 in, it made $100,000? And that was nothing compared to his company, Ultra Petroleum, which soared 1,000 to 1. A $10,000 investment turned into $13 million over 10 years with his last company. But Lost Soldier could be much bigger than Ultra Petroleum. CEO Mark Bruner believes this is the largest gas discovery in the United States in 100 years. It's a 40,000-acre territory in Wyoming that took 40 years to piece together. The first 4,000 feet drilled so far are estimated to contain up to 6 trillion cubic feet of gas. Yes, I said trillion. Management forecasting projects just the first 25 wells alone will produce 400 million cubic feet per day of natural gas. To learn more about Lost Soldier Oil and Gas, go to lostsoldier.com, fill out the contact form, they'll get right back to you. lostsoldier.com, and if anyone in the audience cares, yes, I've invested in a Lost Soldier, and I think it matches the biggest investment I've ever made in my life, I believe, in Lost Soldier. But I'm not an investment advisor, and I'm not giving investment advice. I'm just telling you, I believe in the project. I believe it's my retirement fund. So I've put a very nice investment in. I love it. lostsoldier.com. Give them your contact information, and they'll get right back to you. All right, it's time to take some more, usually I say calls, but in this case, live human beings in Las Vegas, Nevada, with their comments and questions. Let's continue. Be brief now. Don't hog the mic with the Communist Control Act of 1954. You have more to say. Go.
Right. So you mentioned Abdul al-Sayed. One of
Yes.
his best friends is Hassan Piker. And they all cloak underneath the Democrat Socialists of America. And once they get into power, if they get elected, they are Marxists and communists.
Well, he talks about murder outright, murdering us.
Correct.
Hassan Piker wants to murder conservatives, Jews, and Christians.
Right.
Yes.
So give us your opinion of how the conservative side of America can stop this DSA.
Well, I mean, look, it's about stopping stolen elections. And that's why I came up with the idea for a national security emergency for elections. Because here's the thing. I've been arguing about this for 6 months now. I invented this idea out of whole cloth. And I think it's a great idea. And I know it can stop the Democrats because there can be no legal challenge. Supreme Court ruled in 1983. But the real reason I invented it is because I said 6 months ago, the Save America Act will never pass. Trump talks about it. U.S. senators talk about it. What's the guy with the long hair? Presley talks about it. Scott Pressler talks about it. They're all wrong. You cannot pass the Save America Act. There are not enough senators that are willing to get rid of the filibuster. It will not pass. So my idea jumps right over the United States Senate, and Trump can sign it into law. It is not an executive order. It is a national security emergency, a completely different animal. And the Supreme Court has already ruled you can only overturn it with a 2/3 vote, both houses of Congress. Other than stolen elections, fighting that, stopping it, securing them, there's nothing we can all do except continue to vote and vote in huge numbers and bring all your friends out. But will it matter if, like in Nevada, you can count for days after the election? How many of you really believe that we lost the last 2 Senate elections? We didn't. Our candidates were winning. Literally, Sam Brown and Adam Laxalt were both winners of the U.S. Senate seat on the night of the election, and then they kept counting and counting. And I have written article after article, that's the way they steal elections. That's the scam. You just wait till election night to find out how many votes you need to beat them, and then you put that many fake ballots into the system. And by the 5th day, you've beaten the guy very slowly, so it doesn't look too bad, right? You don't do it all in 1 day, 1 hour, 1 minute. It takes you 5 days, or in California's case, it could take 3 weeks to keep counting slowly. Look what they did to Spencer Pratt. We all know he came in second place. He probably is in first place, but he certainly made the runoff until they kept counting. And the gal who cried, the communist who cried on election night, wound up beating him because they injected 100,000 ballots and all of them were for her. It's truly a scam. Let's go to the next question. What's your name?
My name's Mike, Las Vegas resident, 23-year
Hey, Mike.
Air Force veteran.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. My question is concerning the stockpile of munitions right now. The fake news is reporting this is a reason that President Trump is stopping and starting the war. And I just want to say that can be further from the truth. I know from my experience that we stockpile thousands and thousands of weapons all over the world. And there's no way that we're down to 400 missiles. It's just impossible.
No, it's enemy propaganda.
Yes.
It's enemy, and it's leaked by liberals. I've said this on my show. I honestly believe that COVID was sent by China and the Democrat Party to take Trump out of office. I believe they work together. They're traitors to our country. And I believe the Democrat Party is working with Iran. Every single thing you hear in the news that's a lie, that we're losing the war, that Trump's no good, that he's not handling it well, that we're out of ammo, every single thing you hear is misinformation being given out by the Democrat Party, and I believe they're giving our secrets to Iran. Every bit of military intelligence that Trump allows Democrats to hear, they're going straight. You think, is anyone in this room think Ilhan Omar would not pick up the phone and immediately call the mullahs of Iran and give them all of our sensitive information? They're trying desperately, the Democrats, for us to lose or at least to stall until after the midterms so Trump cannot get out of Iran. The Democrat Party is in on Iran. I'm telling you, these are traitors against the United States. And Mike, you're 100% right. I don't believe for a second our stockpiles are low. And I don't believe that has anything to do with the way Trump negotiates. Trump has a strategy, and the strategy is he wants to be completely unpredictable at all times. So it's like, I love you, I hate you, I'm gonna kill you, you're my best friend, you're invited to the wedding. He just acts like a crazy man, so no one ever knows what he's really thinking and what he's really going to do. And just when you believe that he'll never actually hit Iran, you're going to see a mushroom cloud. I'm telling you, you don't know what this guy's going to do. It depends how far they push him. So the end result is there is no loss of weapons. There is no stockpile that's down to nothing. This is all misinformation. Next, please.
Hi, Wayne. Long time no see.
Miss Fix-It.
Katrina Ivanov, and also Nevadans know me as Miss Fix-It.
Hi, Katrina.
I wanted to say, good thing we have that act against communists. However...
1954 Communist Control Act.
Correct. However, they're using just semantics, and they're using socialist instead of communist. But I was 15 years old when I lived in Bulgaria, and we became from communist to a socialist country, and there was no changes. It's the same thing.
Same thing. I agree.
And I need people to wake up and to realize that it's the same thing, and maybe add the word socialist to that act, so we can go after them. They should not be in any situation that they can create laws because it's against the Constitution what they believe in.
It's all in a name. That's why it was the Affordable Care Act. It should have been the Unaffordable Care Act that destroyed everyone's health care. But if they said we're going to make it unaffordable and rip off everyone who works in America to give it free to every Democrat voter, no one would have supported him. So they called it affordable. They call it socialism because it polls much better than communism. But socialism and communism are the exact same thing. Look it up. Cuba, the old Soviet Union, China. Communist countries have an economic system called socialism. They go hand in hand. Socialism is the economic system. Communism is the political system. And they both operate with lies, fraud, gaslighting, propaganda, throwing people in jail, silencing your enemies, and stealing their assets. And that's what's about to happen in the United States. Let's take one more. Go ahead, shoot. Floor is yours.
Hi,
Jill.
Wayne. Jill Douglas from Las Vegas.
I know all these people.
Wayne, are our borders secure now, and why is it do the Democrats love illegal immigration?
Yeah, the borders are completely secure for the first time in the history of the United States. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump. The problem is getting the 50+ million here out of the country fast enough, because if Trump doesn't win the midterms and we don't win in 2028, you know, you're going to be stuck with most of the 50 million. Trump could only get out 1 million, 2 million a year. So we're not getting him out fast enough. I'm a big fan, by the way, of not mass deportation, but mass deportation combined with mass self-deportation. If we can ban them from having bank accounts and also e-verify, right? Actually enforce it and put business owners in jail or fine them so heavily they get rid of the illegals. So they're not going to have a job. They can't have a bank account. You make sure they can't live in society. Forget this driver's license. You got to make sure a federal law is passed. No driver's license for illegals. Once you cut off their access to everything in life, no welfare, no food stamps, their kids should not be in school. They have no right to have their children in school. Once you cut off all access, they're going to leave. Mass self-deportation. I'm seeing the clock is going. We got to take a quick break. When we get back, I'll do the final four quickly and take more of your comments, opinions, and questions right here on America Speaks, live from Las Vegas. Welcome back to Vegas. Las Vegas, baby. Great town. My adopted hometown, 24 years now. I would not give it up in a second. I love this town. This segment of the show sponsored, this is our final four segment, by VRA, Vertical Research Advisory. This is an alert for middle-class Americans. Investing in stocks isn't just for rich people anymore. Kip Herridge left the highest levels of success on Wall Street to help mom and pop investors 23 years ago with his amazing investment newsletter, VRA. His goal was to help the little gal and the little guy, average middle-class American investors, hit returns like the rich guys do with hedge funds, except even better, even higher returns. And he did it. Since then, his top-performing recommendations have beaten the market almost 90% of the time. 19 out of 22 years he's beaten the market. Meanwhile, Barron's reports the average Wall Street money manager loses to the market 90% of the time. So which one do you want? Win 90% or lose 90%? Kip is in the win 90% category. But Kip's not just beating the market, he often beats the market by a mile. His daily newsletter portfolio was up 35% last year, 27% in 2024, and over 50% in 2023. Can anyone beat those numbers? I don't believe so. I'm a witness. I read his newsletter every morning for 23 years. He is my personal financial advisor. Let Kip prove it to you for free, exclusively for my fans only. Kip's offering his daily VRA investment letter completely free for 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, you decide, I believe you will stay for life. Go to VRAinsider.com. 2 weeks free, and from there, very inexpensive, and you hit numbers bigger than any hedge fund out there. VRAinsider.com. Check it out. All right, time for the final four, and hopefully I will leave some time for a few more questions, so I'll go fast. Countdown number 4. So newly declassified FBI files reveal a massive Maricopa, meaning Phoenix, Arizona, voter data breach, but no one was prosecuted. 633,000 voter records were stolen, and nobody ever did anything about it, prosecuted anyone, and then they tell you the 2020 election was not stolen. Are you serious? I mean, how does this go on? What if 600,000 records were stolen and a Democrat lost at the last minute by a thin margin? Can you imagine nobody would prosecute them? No way. And this is going on in so many ways in America. A new study is out. Nearly half of the ACA Medicaid expansion enrollees were ineligible in 2024. Your money is being stolen left and right, no matter where you go, stolen. A new review by the federal government finds 90% of Maine's autism support services lack justification. You all know when they send someone to a hospice, that's a scam. There's no one in the hospices in California. It's run by illegal aliens, and they're stealing government money. In Minnesota, the learning centers are a scam. The autism centers are a scam. This whole country is like 50% stolen money. And then people like Mayor Pete will say you're not paying enough in taxes. Countdown number 3. The FDA reverses course after disapproving the new Moderna experimental flu vaccine, and now they approve the Moderna experimental flu vaccine, and they approved it with 2 provisos in the press release. They're actually telling you this. First of all, they said it only got federal approval because they agreed they do 2 more years of trials, but they're giving it to you now. Do you understand? You're taking it now like a test crash dummy, and yet they won't know the results for 2 years, what it actually does to you. And second of all, they admitted in the press release that it's much better than prior flu shot because it's mRNA like the COVID vaccine. But the results of it are the worst they've ever seen. They said this in the press release. The headaches, the fever, the pain at the injection site is actually far worse than any prior flu shot. Is anyone here going to take the new flu shot? No. Don't go near it. Don't go near it. It's the COVID vaccine all over again, and they think you're that dumb. It's amazing. Countdown number 2. Illegal alien mows down a Connecticut cop and his girlfriend while driving drunk and high, and she's a registered voter who's voted in all the recent elections. There you have in one story encapsulated everything going wrong with America. She's in the country illegally, illegal alien. She mows down a cop and his girlfriend, both dead, cop dead, girlfriend with 3 young children dead. She's driving drunk and high, and she's a registered voter. You don't think elections are being stolen. You don't think illegal immigration is the biggest problem in America? Wow, you're living in a dream state. And if you think that's bad, 74-year-old woman on life support after being run over by a drunk illegal alien in a hit and run in Miami. Happens every day. They're not just murdering us. They're not just raping American women. They're not just selling drugs and killing us 100,000 a year from fentanyl. The amount of hit and run driving accidents with illegals high or on alcohol drunk is mind-numbing. And it's going on every day and nobody seems to care. As a matter of fact, the best story of the week, horrible story, but the best to showcase what's going on happened in Europe with a 28-year-old white activist woman from America who went to Greece to help flood Europe with more migrants, got into an affair with a migrant in Greece, and he murdered her and stuffed her into a suitcase and tried to bring it on a train. She's the woman that was trying to flood Europe with illegals. She has sex with the illegal and he murders her. And this goes on every day. And people don't understand what's going on. Not all cultures are the same. Not all people are the same. You can't let anyone into your country. There has to be standards. And finally, countdown number 1. President Trump signs orders to curb birthright citizenship and target birth tourism. Can we have a little hand here? I say this every show, that President Trump isn't perfect. I don't always agree with everything he does. I don't always think everything he does is the right move. But in the end, Ronald Reagan said, if you agree 70% of the time, you and I are best friends. And I agree with him 99% of the time. And I'm sick of hearing conservatives tell me that he's not good enough, he's not fulfilling his promises. President Trump does more in a week than any other president in history in 8 years, 2 full terms. President Trump achieves more in a week, week after week, than Ronald Reagan did in 8 years, than George W. Bush ever did in 8 years. The guy is unbelievable. Now, every week, I don't have time tonight, every week I give you all the stories you don't see in the mainstream media on my show. And every week, I usually list 10 things that Trump has done that week that it's our joy in life to have a president like this. You'll never get a better one. You've never had a better one, and I believe probably, sadly, we'll never get a better one. So enjoy it while you got him. Now, are things all going swimmingly? Well, no, because everything he does gets blocked by a communist insurrectionist judge. So until we figure out how to stop the communist insurrectionist judges, we keep 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But that doesn't mean he's not trying. He's not fighting. Every second of every day, he's fighting for you and me. And the one thing he's done best is secure the border, and that's the single most important thing. Let's grab one more question. Next.
TJ Hampton, Las Vegas.
Hey,
Wayne,
TJ.
Appreciate your pragmatism. On the declaration of national security emergency, I think really that's the only chance we have. But what can we do? You look at states like California. Close races, 100%, always break Democrat. And it's not just California.
After they keep counting for 5 days and 5 weeks after the election.
Right, and I think you're 100% on. What can we do? We feel kind of helpless. We got to go on Truth Social and post on Donald Trump's side, Declaration of National Security. We feel helpless. What can we do? Give us some guidance.
Well, listen, when I went backstage with Trump and I said national security emergency, first of all, he looked overwhelmed. He's tired, right? I mean, it's just, he's getting hit from 1,000 directions all day long. But he immediately said to his national political director, speak to Wayne right away and find out what this is about, right? Just send in emails to the White House, to your senators. I mean, here you can't do it. In Nevada, we have 2 liberal senators who love illegal immigrants, who love illegals that drive drunk and kill somebody, including a cop. It's like they're in love with them. And I keep saying there's got to be something wrong. Are they mentally ill? Are they brainwashed like Stepford Wives? Or are they on the take from China and the Mexican drug cartel? I say all of the above, right? I think they're on the take. They're making money on the open border because nobody would want a border open to flood America with all these killers and rapists and kidnappers. Nobody in the whole world. So it really is something very strange going on. And I believe it's bribery. And I believe you should not be shocked by it, because if you watch any gangster movie from the 1930s and 1940s, they will show you that every judge in New York and every police captain in New York was on the take of the mafia. So do you really believe with the money the Mexican drug cartel makes and China makes off fentanyl that they're not bribing the judges and the police captains and every other person you could possibly bribe, including the entire Democrat Party and every politician on the Democrat side in the House and the Senate? They're all on the take. So the only thing I can tell you is national security emergency for elections. Call up and email and text anyone in office that you can and tell them we've got to do this if we want to win the midterms, because otherwise they're going to steal it again. And if they steal it again, we have no more country. If we win it, we're golden. We're golden, and we'll win in 28. You know why? Because we got a census coming up in 2030, and everyone is moving out of blue states to red states. We're going to have all the electoral votes, we're going to have all the funding, and we're going to have all the seats in Congress that we never had with the 2030 census if we are allowed to get illegals out of the census, which can only happen if we win the midterms and then win in 2028. That's my answer. Got to keep voting. Got to get people out to vote. Bring your friends. Got to tell everyone. Got to educate people. And most importantly, got to tell your politicians. National security emergency for elections. I'm Wayne Allyn. This is America Speaks on Real America's Voice. Live from Vegas. Vegas, baby. Good night. God bless you. God bless Trump. God bless America.